Hello, everybody. This is CJ, and so this is some seasoned flour. Just so you know, this is not going to be one of my healthy recipes, although it's not going to be unhealthy. Okay, so we have, oh, yeah, and just kind of like eyeball this because it's really just a batter. It is a fair amount of uh, self-rising flour. There is a lot of seasoning salt in here. So that's two types of salt because there's salt in the self-rising flour and there's salt in the seasoning salt, obviously. Poultry seasoning because this is going to be a chicken batter. And then lots of red pepper flakes, like huge amounts, probably like about 2 tablespoons of red pepper flakes all the way through here. Uh, so we got like some peppers, and then yeah, the flour, the poultry seasoning, the red pepper flakes, and the seasoning salt. Those are the four ingredients. But I got something else to show you. Hold on. I wanted a little bit of something different, so I've got these leftover pretzel crisps. Anything like chips or anything like that, anything that's left over makes a great addition to this. So hold on. So now I've already partially pulverized the bigger portions of the pretzel chips. I'm going to put this on right side, properly. These things are wonderful. It would take me forever to keep pounding to get it into the dust that I want it to be. So we're going to put this on and pulse it just a couple of times. We don't want to overwork this machine. I don't want to overwork it. This is a very sensitive. These machines are very sensitive. By the way, the first time I used this, these blades, they had a black covering on them for shipping, and I did not realize it. And I chopped some things, and the plastic came off and ended up in the seasoning, and so some of the plastic was actually in the food. So I just ate the food anyway, and just like when I came to the bigger pieces of plastic, I just picked it out. But I would not have served that to my customer. If you just take this and you push it down and you let it run and run and run, it will burn out the device itself, the machine. So you have to do it in pulses. A lot of food processors are like that, especially these lesser expensive ones, but they work well. So sometimes you can pulse them up to 5. Let's see where we are. Hold on. I'm going to take this off. Take the lid off. I'm having fun with this, so that's why I'm videoing it. It's getting there. I want it a little finer. That's still a coarse blend. So what I'm going to do is work with this. I'll put you on pause while I work with this. Okay, so here we have these to a hard breadcrumb consistency. I think if I work with it a little more, I can get it even a little finer. So this is what I'm looking for. Primarily, mostly a very fine granule consistency. It's not quite a dust or a flour, but it's pretty stony. It's really great. It's going to add a great texture, and more will be revealed. So the plot thickens. The flour that I had prepped without the pretzel dust, because that's still on the other counter, there is about 2.5, maybe 3 pounds of chicken breast cut into large, inch wide, and left as long as they are. And so I put it in the flour. The outside of it, of the chicken breast, were a little thawed and cool, so they could bind with the flour. Uh, you really want, this is a no egg breading, so you want to give this time in the flour so the flour will stick and bind. Because if you don't do that, if you just roll it in here, from experience now, if I take this and put it right into hot grease, even without there being a binding agent, it's going to come like right off. You know what I mean? I'll get some good color and I'll get bits and pieces of good coverage, but it's going to come right off. So I'm going to let this sit, finish thawing on the counter here. And yeah, my windows are open, and I've got kids in the complex. Not my kids, but but yeah. So this is what we're gonna do. Let this sit, and then I'm gonna come back and show you some more. All right, and so I'm working on the side where my sink is. By the way, just for easier cleanup, I've got this turned into a dusty consistency. There's still some crumbles, but I've worked with it enough to think that, well, it's not really going to get any finer with what I'm working with. But this is good consistency. I'm going to take some of this and just kind of dust it here gradually. The flour at this point is really bonding to the chicken, but I want some texture. So I'm going to toss this around a little bit gradually, a little bit at a time, and work these pretzel chip dust onto the chicken. Okay, so reserving about a tablespoon of the pretzel dust, I have worked very well. Actually, this is working very well. This dust has actually changed the consistency of the color of the chicken. The chicken is about thawed now. And yeah, we've got like a really, really good covering. And even as it falls off into the chicken, I can still pat it on there. I'm going to let this sit for probably about another 20, 30 minutes. In that time, I'm going to work on getting my oil set because I have to fry the chicken. Now these are small strips, so maybe I can get it done in a one process without having to go into the oven. But if I feel like it's getting a little bit too golden, then what I may do is I may fry it shorter, then put them on a pan, cover them up, and finish them off in the oven. But as small as these are, I don't think I'll need to do that. I think I'll probably will be able to finish them on top of the stove. So yeah. But I'll let you know, man. We're gonna keep at this. I'm just having fun. I haven't done a food video in a while, and yeah, I just wanted to do something a little bit different. And didn't have eggs on hand. Did have pretzels. It's every once in a while you get like a bit of clump. You can go ahead and remove the clump if that gets in your way. Because the flour, as the moisture works from the chicken gets into the flour, you'll want to get those lumps out. And then the more moisture that comes from this chicken from waiting, the more the breadcrumbs and the moisture was already being absorbed by the flour, by the seasoned flour. And now the moisture is being absorbed by the pretzel dust and chips and stuff like that. So, and that will help it bind a little bit. So this is going to be awesome. So I just put a couple in to test it. It's really good. This is a Gotham Steel pan. Honestly, they're all right. They're not professional grade, but they will work at a home kitchen and they will do just fine. I have a square pan that's really great for frying that comes with a basket. But to be honest with you, I don't know. sometimes it's a little bit of a headache. So, this is a good temperature. I put a couple of them in, and I want to keep it covered. But this is a good temperature because it immediately got a good seal with that breading and that crust without falling off. Because that's what you don't want. You don't want to put this in oil that's not hot enough, because what will happen is that you won't get a good crusty seal. Now, I'm going to let this go for a few minutes. You want to watch what you do. This will keep the heat inside. It will help keep the grease from sputtering. But with Teflon, you don't want to. This is a Teflon coating. You don't want to go really above a heat. I want to turn it down just a little bit because I want these to cook a little bit longer. You get that really great crust, and that's one of the things that you'll do with frying, especially with the deep oil frying, is that you will adjust your temperature sometimes. When it gets hot, you'll turn it down. You don't want to go much below a medium low right there. And I'm going to work on dusting off my, while it's at this temperature, I want to keep the lid on, by the way. And I'm maybe 5 to 6 minutes for each piece. What I would do is actually I would get the oil hot, put the strips in, and then I would get the crust on it. And then once it's got a crust, then you could turn it to this medium low and go maybe 5 to 6 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so look how beautiful and crispy these came out. So I already know the flavor is great. So I'm not going to do an eating video right now because I'm still cooking. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. What I've done was I've taken this out and I turned the knob on that back burner where I'm cooking this. I'm back up to a medium, and I'm going to get the oil hot again because when I put in the chicken, the temperature will drop, and then of course when I get the crispiness, this breading on here, then I turn it down and I finish frying it. And these are small enough that it's not really going to need to go into an oven. This was my timer. When I timed the chicken for that 5 minutes, because I use timers, but it turned out to be good looking even before the timer was up. So I removed it. I'm going to let it drain here. I use these old Coca-Cola boxes lined with paper. Makes great drainage, and then when I'm done, I can remove them from here and throw them away. But these are perfect chicken strips with a twist of a pretzel coating added. So yeah.